Hello one and all, welcome to the Galaxy Man Show channel here. I am here with
Alberto Rosende.
Dominic Sherwood.
And with my first question, this is for Dom, and also Alberto, if you want to answer it. What was it like filming the final season of Shadowhunters?
The final season wasn't the final season until after we finished episode 20. It was about a month and a half after that we'd wrapped, we'd all gone back home, that we found out not only that we were cancelled, but that we were doing 2 more.
Yeah.
So it was that last 2 episodes that was like...
That was where we were filming something that we knew was coming to an end. So, everyone was fairly sure we were going to get a season 4.
Yeah.
And we were catering the story towards leaning to going and doing more. And I think as a result, what we ended up doing is changing a lot of what was in our original episode 20, and putting it in 19, and then taking bits and moving it on to 20 and 21 and 22, and extending the story a little that way. So as Alberto says, it really was those last 2 episodes that felt like we were finishing off. And it was bittersweet, as everyone says, but at the same time, they did such a good job, Todd and Darren and the writers team, and then the crew and everyone who came back to sort of finish, because a lot of people had gone off and taken other jobs and whatever, and I think everyone came back and rallied, and we put something together that we were really proud of.
Yeah. And for my second question, who was the biggest prankster on the set?
A lot of people ask that.
We had a lot of...
It was season 1 was a lot of pranks.
More of pranks.
Season 1 was a lot of pranks, and then Kat and I started getting paid to do these pranking spots for a while, which was really odd, like promoting other things and other movies and stuff. That one for The Ring, she pranked us. That was horrifying for me. I knew they were going to do something. I knew they were trying to mess with me at some point. But I didn't know, me and Isaiah we didn't know exactly when it was, and we were sort of creeping around the place, and they got us.
Really loud.
I was genuinely terrified. If you watch it, I have my foot on the table like this because I know something's coming. And as she runs out, my instinct is to kick the table forward, and I just stopped myself from doing it because I was about to boot it into, because I thought the girl from The Ring was running out.
Imagine if you'd
But yeah, I think season 1 was where it really flourished, and that was mostly me. And you got quite a few as well.
I got a few good ones.
You got a good one. The poop on my door, it wasn't poop, it was Nutella, but you put it underneath my trailer handle.
So at 3 in the morning when he's exhausted and had to wrap, and just all he wanted to do was go home, he'd just get his hand in a big glove. And I was what he thought was
and at 3 a.m. your instinct is well, that's poop. Someone has put poo on my door handle, and that's dreadful. It's funnier when you say poo in a British accent.
Yes, you're way funnier.
Yeah, there you go.
And for my third question, this is actually for Alberto this time. Paul Wesley actually directed an episode.
Yeah.
What was it like when Paul Wesley came on to direct an episode for you?
It was vampires from different worlds kind of collide. It was cool because he had a cool understanding of what the whole genre was, which sometimes we didn't get that with our directors, that they kind of knew what the world... knew what the world was, knew how to kind of communicate with actors about that specifically. And then it was also cool to be directed by a guy who's an actor. Yeah. So it comes from that lens. And then... I'm
not laughing at you, I'm laughing that very subtly at having surreptitious drinks brought into us, but in the background you see oh, thank you very much. Oh, you managed to get cider. Amazing. Thank you so much. Cheers.
So, next question. No, it was really cool to see that. Also, the way his career's kind of worked, where he was on that show for a while, then he's been directing and doing that. He was a cool person to kind of just see and be like, well, maybe in a few years I could be directing. So overall, it was an awesome experience. Yeah.
And for my fourth question, this is actually for Dom this time. You actually met Catherine Kelly from The Bold and the Beautiful when she did an interview with you on The View, I'm pretty sure it was.
Yeah.
What was it like meeting Catherine Kelly?
I think that was the morning show that I did in Sydney, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a trip, because this sort of little old me sat next to this sort of Australian icon kind of thing. Yeah. So that was a bit of a trip, and then so the funny thing with this interview is I had just recently gone through a breakup.
Okay.
But nobody knew. The public didn't know, so they sort of asked some questions about my girlfriend, who wasn't my girlfriend at the time, and it was all live, and I hadn't really thought about it, and I just remember going, oh, panic. What do I say? Yeah, this is great. Everything's great. And she is, don't get me wrong, she's a wonderful girl, she's a very amicable breakup. And I have a huge amount of respect for her. But yeah, it's sort of sitting in a situation where I was already quite nervous because I was sat next to someone who was like wildly successful. I was trying not to say anything really like terrible. They get this like bombshell dropped in front of me, and I think one of them even said like, "Oh, you should be having kids soon." And I was like, "Oh, I think so."
You're okay,
But yeah, it was a hell of a thing for sure.
Nice. And for my fifth question, what are you guys going to enjoy about Oz Comic Con this weekend?
Well, with every convention, it's really cool to meet fans from like another part of the world. I've never been to Australia before; it's my first time.
Nice.
So I'm excited to kind of see a bit of Melbourne, and then also talk to people that are here that have seen the show and just, I don't know, just connect.
Yeah,
it's gonna be fun.
And yourself?
I'm the same. Yeah, I'm always excited to interact with the fans, and also both of us are kind of very comic book geeky.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we're going to try and like go out and actually explore Comic Con properly as well, which is we always try and do that when we go. It's a lot of fun.
So cosplay yourselves and
or we might just be dressed up as something else.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, wink. We're not going to be there. Good one, solid work. Yeah.
And for my sixth question, when you were the owl creature in technically the final kind of season, were you under the mask?
I was, yeah. Yeah, it was a nightmare.
How hard was that?
It was a real learning process for all of us, because we got this mask developed, and we got one for me and one for my son guy Aaron, who, I mean, Aaron really deserves all of the credit, because I do a lot of the fighting stuff, but it's the things like the really intricate like flips and twists that I don't do.
Yeah.
Can't
nicest
do.
dude you've ever met.
He's the sweetest guy. He works so hard as well. He's an amazing stunt guy. But he has to do these like backflips and stuff wearing this mask, and a big part of when you do these tricks is seeing the ground in front of you and knowing that that's where your feet are going to go. And a big problem with that mask is you couldn't really see so good. So it was tricky. We did times where we take like they sort of had these black lenses, and we take those out because if we were shooting at night, it's like wearing sunglasses, you couldn't see anything. So we'd take those out, and that would help, and then we'd have to put them back in for different shots and sort of be walked like literally by the arm onto where I'm supposed to stand, and they're like, just don't move there, and then you're looking at like 10 o'clock and 2 o'clock, and that's it, that's all you need. And then there was the one day where they had the rain towers, where the mask, unbeknownst to me, was watertight down here, but let water in at the top. So sort of halfway through, I'm realizing like, oh, I think I'm gonna fucking drown in my own bath. Like, this is dreadful. And I was like, cut, can we pop the eyes out real quick? Because I'm like gurgling with water that just happens to be right in my mouth. But yeah, it was a cool experience. It was something very different to anything I'd done before. And the prosthetics team as well would like to put this thing together and to make it literally fit my face to the point where if I wanted to move my mouth, the creature moved its mouth, the mask moved. It was absolutely amazing.
Well, can I just say you did an amazing performance as the
owl creature,
thank you so much. I really loved your performance as the
That's
owl
very
creature.
sweet. Thank you. I really appreciate
Thank
that.
you so much for bringing that owl creature to life.
Thank you. Yeah.
He put like humbly, you won't say this. He put a lot of work into how the owl moves, how they wanted to do. There were talks with writers about like how they can make this a thing, but how they can still fit. It was a cool process behind that.
Thanks, buddy.
You're welcome.
And with my seventh question that I have for you guys, when you guys went into wanting to create Shadowhunters with the writers and stuff, what was audition process like for you guys?
Very different. Both of us had very different process. Do you want to go first?
Yeah, mine, I know I auditioned for it like 3 times before it was ever going anywhere. And then I thought I wasn't going to hear anything because it's been like a month. Okay, that one's gone.
A month is kind of your cut-off, yeah.
That's when like the last strand of hope.
He's going to cut that,
no, but somehow it kept hanging on, and then I actually was flown to LA, because I was in New York at the time. Well, actually, at the time I was in Boston, but I went back to New York, and then my test got pushed, so I was flown to LA. I did 3 separate auditions there. The first one was like a group of like 10 people in the room, and all of them auditioning for Simon, and you see like a bunch of tall guys, short guys, like everything you can imagine. It's like in one room. You're like, wow, that's okay. And then the next room, there's like 4 or 5, and you're like, okay. And then the next time it's 3.
Yeah.
And
Sort
then
of
you
whittle you down.
wow, okay. So it felt, I don't know, it was really, for me, I had a great time because I was never really, I was just happy to be there. I was from the day, I was hanging out.
Mine was sort of similar at the beginning,
Mm-hmm.
and then very quickly changed. So I went through that process and I tested, and then I got offered the part, and I got offered the part first before Clary's or anyone. So I had to come back and like seemingly having the part, but also auditioning with all these different Clarys and thinking to myself every time I do an audition, I auditioned probably with about 30 different Clarys, and I remember thinking every time, if they like her better than me, and they don't think that we vibe, they're going to fire me and hire her and then do the whole opposite thing. So it's like 30, had to do 30 essentially more auditions where I had to prove no, I promise you, I'm still right for this part.
And then you actually fit with that.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
I actually met you at my test.
Yeah, I remember walking in and there were 3 guys there were a bunch of Izzies there were no Alex, there were 3 Simons and then about 7 Clarys. And I remember there were 3 sat down, one of them was stood up and there were 2 Simons sat on the couch. And 2 of them were wearing glasses, you and the other guy, and then one of them was stood up not wearing glasses. And I was like, well, that's a terrible mistake because the character wears glasses. You should be wearing glasses right now. And then I looked at the 2 of you and just went, he's going to get it. And then walked into my room. That was, well, it actually wasn't Alberto, but he ended up getting it anyway. I'm kidding. He did do it, we never saw him. No, it was of course Alberto, and I don't think there was even any question. I think when he walked in the room, everyone was just like, "Yeah, he's the guy."
I would actually like to tell you something, if I can, about my mate actually auditioned for Shadowhunters.
Cool.
But he auditioned for the wrong character, so he auditioned for Simon, and he was like, "Shouldn't you audition for Jace instead?" And he sadly didn't get in, but his name was Charles Terrier. He's a great actor, and he actually, as I said, auditioned.
Interesting.
That's cool.
Next time, there's always another audition, which is great. One of the great things about this job is no matter how down you get, there's always going to be something else.
Well, can I just say thank you so much, guys, for this pleasure for interviewing you guys.
Thank you so much.
Amazing.
Pleasure.
Thank you so
Thank you
much.
very much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
That's